Ooh, an action-packed Saturday, ladies and gentlemen. The Washington Commanders hit the practice field yet again, and they brought Terry McLaurin with them. Let's talk about it.
Shout out to Juan Gotti Talking Sports. You know what it is.
Shout out Juan Gotti Talking Sports.
The way that we live is not for everybody.
Nah, that ain't it, y'all.
How do you think the rest of Jaden Daniels' career is going to go? If we're, 6, 7 games into Jaden Daniels' career, and he's already milking injuries? Like,
Niggas stop saying my name, you dick riding bastard.
I love the way she move it, shake it on me. When she cry for him, and Shawty is the winner. You can tell that Shawty love again now. She's confident.
So today, the Washington Commanders are preparing for their Monday night showdown with the Cincinnati Bengals. And today, Terry McLaurin made an appearance out at the practice field as he's officially off the physically unable to perform list. However, that doesn't mean much as the sizable gap between the contract extension from Adam Peters and Terry McLaurin, they are still far apart per Jeremy Fowler. But we can take anything like this that's going to get positivity around the whole situation. Again, I know we're tired of talking about it. I am too. I ain't going to lie. I want it to be over just as bad as you do. But again, in my opinion, honestly, as this thing prolongs itself out, I don't know when this thing is going to be done. You know what I mean? I really want to stop talking about it. I really want to stop making videos on it because that means Terry McLaurin has gotten paid. But the way Adam Peters, he negotiates, this is how he moves. He moves in a strategic way that isn't going to mortgage the future of the team while also eventually taking care of the player that needs to be taken care of. Again, has Juan Gotti's panic level moved? Not at all. I still fully expect Terry McLaurin to get his deal done. I just can't tell you when it's going to happen. Maybe, just maybe, him being at Ashburn and out there at the practice field and seeing the day-to-day work that he needs to be getting, maybe that allows Washington to expedite this process. Because as you mentioned, or should I say as I mentioned rather, this receiving core doesn't move the needle for me whatsoever, right? Like, I love Terry McLaurin. We need him, though, badly, right? I understand we don't want to overpay for him, but we need him badly. Outside of Deebo Samuel and Noah Brown, to rest just mid, right? And is that fair to say? Probably not, but we haven't had a guy out there that we can trust to go ahead and assume the role of a Terry McLaurin, of a Deebo Samuel, of a Noah Brown. Am I positive and hopeful that Jalen Lane turns into something special? Yes. Am I hoping that year 2 Luke McCaffrey puts all the critics to bed? Yes. Am I hopeful that Ja'Cory Brooks could be this undrafted free agent superstar receiver? Yes. But on a scale from not likely to likely, how likely all that happens? I think this team has gotten a good look at what this receiving core looks like without Terry McLaurin, and we don't stand a chance. Well, I should say we always stand a chance because we have 5 back there. But for the most part, you're just going to make him have to repeat what he did last year, and that's damn near put the team on his back. And what this whole offseason was for, was so he did not have to replicate what he did last season. That's why you bring in a Deebo Samuel. That's why you bring in a McLaurin Tunsil. That's why you go out and you get a Von Miller, right? You surround your quarterback with as much talent as possible so they can be as successful and bring a Lombardi back to the city. That being said, though, we do have an update on the practice. Practice was well today. You know what I'm saying? No, we're not going to get more first-team reps. Jaden Daniels is playing Monday night. In fact, let's actually take a look at the injury report as Dan Quinn gave us a list of the players that actually won't be playing on Monday night against the Cincinnati Bengals. However, the starters are playing as we know. Cincinnati's first and foremost are playing their starters, so we'll get Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, and whatnot. But the players that aren't playing: Bobby Wagner, Von Miller, Zach Ertz, McLaurin Tunsil, Sam Cosmi, Brandon Coleman, Noah Brown, Terry McLaurin, Marcus Mariota, Joe McGee, and Javonte Jean-Baptiste. Now, if you're like, Juan, what names on this list that looks unusual? For me, it has to start at the bottom. with Joel McGee and Javonte Jean-Baptiste. These guys need to be out there. And again, I know they probably don't want to rush Joel McGee as it's deemed not serious in terms of his injury. But it's like, come on, man. These are valuable snaps that I think a young guy like you need to be having and taking, especially when you missed a lot of time that you did last year. Same with Javonte Jean-Baptiste. I will say this, though. It's like dang near the whole starting offensive line ain't going to be out there. No Laramie Tunsil, no Sam Cosmi, no Brandon Coleman. So that's 3 of your starting guys. So Tyler Biadasz is going to be playing. Josh Connolly, Andrew Wley's going to be playing. Y'all better not get 5 messed up. 5 going to be out there, but 5 ain't out there with his starting unit. So y'all better take care of my boy. You know what I mean? But this is interesting and exciting to see that he's going to be out there. I've always been pro play your starters in the preseason at least 1 or 2 series in a game, whether it's game 1, game 2, game 3, or even if you want to go all 2 or 3 games. Do it. I've always been that way because that's how you truly get prepared for the season. Seeing in live game reps, all you have been going up against is the same people in camp every day. It's easy to dominate them, but you need to see an opposing team. And I can't wait to see 5 back out there. Y'all know I'm going to be at the game too. So make sure y'all come up, pop up, and talk to me and whatnot. And we going to be kicking it, man. It's going to be lit. We're back. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. Juan Gotti Command Extra post-game show is back for yet another season. Following each and every Washington Commanders game, call into the number 240-804-7327 to have your voice heard on the show. Win, lose, or draw, happy, upset, or mad, make sure you call into that number because I want to hear from you after every single game. But getting into actually some notes from today's practice. This is per Skylar Nelson. She says some of her takeaways today from the practice with the Washington Commanders is Terry McLaurin, obviously, being activated off the PUP list and being there at practice and whatnot. Yeah, that's pretty cool. JD5 to Ben Sinnott was pretty good today. Is that so? Your man Juan Gotti's been banging that narrative the whole entire camp. The 3 times I went out there, the 1 time we seen Ben Sinnott in the preseason game, I said the connection between Jay Daniels and Ben Sinnott has been well. And in the game with Sam Hartman at quarterback, Ben Sinnott was getting open a lot. They just didn't get him the ball. So that being said, I'm not surprised one bit that Ben Sinnott is turning up. Y'all know I love Ben, right? And it has to do with me being a tight end guy. And I've been wanting to have a guy like Jordan Reed since Jordan Reed. And we haven't had a legit tight end that much since then. So I'm hoping for the best for Ben Sinnott. And that's cool to hear that he's having a nice day with JD5. Continuing on. Says major potential in JD5 to wide receiver Jalen Lane's connection. JD5's arm strength and lane speed. Sheesh. And that's a big reason why they went out and got him, right? You lost De'Ami Brown, who was your lone deep threat really last year. And you went out there and replaced him with the hopes of a Jalen Lane because he has the speed that can run under footballs launched by Jaden Daniels. There were a lot of times where receivers got overthrown. I don't know if there's any overthrowing Jalen Lane. If you in fact overthrow Jalen Lane, then we have a serious problem. But I don't see that happening, as I see him being an opportunity to be a legit force on this Washington Commanders offense. Continuing on, though, it's part 2 of my takeaways from training camp per Skylar. She says cornerback Noah Igbenogany getting first team reps ahead of the him is Trey Amos didn't see at practice today. So normally Trey Amos would be getting those first team reps, but he wasn't at practice today, which is interesting. But again, we don't know. It probably isn't anything. Maybe it's a family matter, personal thing may have happened, but I don't think no injury with Trey Amos, as I expect him to play. Continuing on, it says safety Jeremy Reeves had a pick today. He continues to keep stacking solid days. Again, when I was out there at Ashburn and the other day, he was getting first team reps. You know what I mean? So he is, in fact, really finding himself. And you know how I feel about Revo, man. I feel like Revo has always been a guy that deserved opportunity to at least start. We never had a safety room to where he was always just a special teams guy, and he couldn't have been more. So I'm interested to see what Revo looks like in this preseason game. We know he balls out, he flies around, but if his snaps in fact increase, it's gonna be interesting. Continuing on, it says JD5 Debo touchdown first team drills, and then wide receiver Tay Martin showing speed as well. So it's interesting that Tay Martin continues to be brought up. You know what I mean? Again, I've always been quick to just close the door on these guys. Say it's Tay Martin, right? It's Chris Moore, it's KJ Osborne. I'm closing the gun. Get out of my face. And it ain't nothing. You ain't gonna do anything for us. But I don't know, man. Maybe Tay Martin, maybe just Tay Martin may do something. I don't know, because I sure have been hearing his name a lot. But that being said, this was just a quick little video. The main thing being that Terry McLaurin was off of the physical and able to perform list. But again, this doesn't move the needle for me. This is a big, I wouldn't call it a nothing bird because he's back at practice, but we're waiting for the big thing, the contract thing, because again, this doesn't change anything about that. It's just he's back at work and back at practice, which I'm hopeful for and happy with because he's out there working with his guys, but we just need to get this contract situation over with so we no longer have to talk about it. But that being said, as always, being boy Juan Gotti, make sure you like, comment, subscribe to the channel on the road to 11,000 subscribers. I would greatly appreciate it if you can reach that goal as soon as possible. Thank you so much. Y'all have a blessed one. Stay safe, be easy out there. Peace.
Ballin' like I'm D-Sean, throw the bomb, G. That's IG, my jersey never seen a line.